This was absolutely insane to witness as Patrick Kane makes NHL history. But not only that, the Red Wings claw back in an insane comeback in the third period and one of the craziest goals and sequences we've ever seen from Alex DeBrincat. And speaking of Alex DeBrincat, what a game from him and what a season so far. We're going to break it all down in this episode of Red Wings Digest. But before we get into all of that, a quick reminder to hit that subscribe button. Brand new channel here. We currently have 40 subscribers. The support so far has been unbelievable. We're trying to hit our goal of 250 subscribers. So if you guys could go down below, hit that free subscribe button, would help us out a lot. And you get to stay up to date with everything that's going on with the Red Wings post-game reactions. There's a lot of trade rumors going around right now. We're going to keep you guys up to date with everything to do with the Red Wings. But Mark, it was a crazy, absolutely crazy game against the Washington Capitals. And I want to get into it now. And I do want to say, first of all, shout out to Charlie Lindgren for this after the game. He fought through it in the shootout. He came back out. He looked like he was in discomfort and he was carried off the ice. Absolutely insane. But I'm going to throw it over to you now. Patrick Kane, it's official. We were waiting so long for it. We weren't sure if it was going to happen before the Olympic break. The first goal was called back, which was insane, but he finally gets it. He's the leading U.S.-born goal scorer in NHL history.
I mean, this is one of those guys, just growing up as a kid, watching him throughout his career, it was incredible to watch, looking at his season. I mean, 8 goals, 23 assists. I don't even know if this is updated at this point. This guy has been absolutely stellar, especially for a guy that's at his age, went through the injuries that he did. And Darius, it just shows that this is a team, and we've talked about it a bunch. You have the young guys that are performing really well, but the veteran players on this team have really taken people under their wing, and Patty Kane is the prime example of a guy that Father Time has not caught yet, because not only is an all-time goal scorer or leader now, but he's also someone helping this team secure a top spot in the division.
But before we get too far into today's video, this video is brought to you by Kalshi. When you download Kalshi using the link in the description and using promo code DIGESTNHL, you get $10 when you trade your first $100. And Kalshi is the US's largest prediction market where users can trade event contracts peer-to-peer rather than against a sports book. And it's now live in all 50 states, so whether you're in California, Texas, or right here in Detroit, Michigan, you can start using Kalshi. And Mark, there's a big weekend coming up in sports, just a few weekends away, and that of course is the Super Bowl. And a lot of people are trading on the Seattle Seahawks, and they are on a mission. It looks like they're going to do it. I have a hard time trading on the New England Patriots, but what are your thoughts on the Super Bowl coming up?
I mean, yeah, that's perfect. You can trade on Seattle. You can see all the odds are right there on the screen. Listen, I'm fully in on Seattle. We're not going New England over here. And it's even better where you can go in and you can trade on multiple things. $100 get you 148 in return if going in on Seattle. And they also have game outcomes, in-game things. There's so much to trade on with Kalshi.
Yeah, and it's just a better way to optimize your sports and news knowledge. And it's a regulated market that you can close positions at any time. So go down below, download the Kalshi app in the description using the link in the description and use promo code DIGESTNHL. And a very special thank you to Kalshi for sponsoring this video. And he's been consistent all season. I like that point you made about some of the older guys on the team. I mean, look at JVR. He's out there in the final minute, right? And he's a veteran in this league now, as hard it is to think about that, which is crazy. But even Ben Sherratt gets on the board today. Alex DeBrincat was fantastic. I want to get to that in a few minutes, so we will definitely get to that. But like you mentioned, you know, Patrick Kane, unbelievable, some of the older guys. And Ben, I want to bring it back to Ben Sherratt for a second. Signed that contract the other day. Everybody's like, this guy, we're looking at the analytics, this guy's a terrible hockey player. Well, guess what? He's going to hit. He's going to go throw big hits, and he has that big booming slap shot, and sometimes it works out, and it did tonight to tie the game. Obviously, it ended up in a loss, but I just thought it was a really good bounce back effort in that third period. They were getting outshot. They were getting out hit to that point, and they clawed back a little bit in a lot of those categories. But Patrick Kane, shout out to Patrick Kane. But I want to move on to Alex DeBrincat now, Mark, and he had a fantastic game. He put up a bunch of points. He had that assist to Sherratt as well. He got to celebrate with Patrick Kane here in the middle of the ice. It was a nice little gesture for everyone to come out and celebrate with him. But DeBrincat gets the goal with less than a minute left. He banks it off the camera hole, I guess. They were reviewing it. This was one of the most insane sequences ever. And you just felt in the building and in the team that when they made it 3-2, that they were going to tie this game. And with the momentum shifting, that they were going to win in overtime. It didn't end up happening that way. And good effort in the shootout. But do you have any thoughts on Alex DeBrincat and what he's been able to do for this team? Because he's another, guy that I think a lot of people forget about around the league for some reason. And he's just that guy, and he's been that goal scorer for such a long time.
I mean, I want to say that actually might be the craziest goal we've ever seen, especially in the circumstance, going in, tying the game to send it to overtime in the shootout. A little messy. No goalie seemed like they were ever going to make a save, but of course we lost the game. But one stat I want to touch on before we go into this, Darius, is the fact that looking at this, we looked at it earlier, I thought we were going to jinx it, but they haven't won back-to-back games without getting a point since Black Friday. Of course, this continues going into this game with going into the shootout. You wish you got 2 points, but going to Alex DeBrincat, just how he's been playing, it's been outstanding. This is a player that they got just a few seasons ago, and coming through, you can see the advanced stats, the goals per 60, assists per 60, the points for 60. Everything is in the top percentile. And once again, this is a team that, yes, you have your elite talent, Dylan Larkin, you have Raymond, you have DeBrincat, Patrick Kane to an extent, but this is a team that everyone is contributing in a way. You go into a game, you're down, you see the big game from DeBrincat, you go into another game, Dylan Larkin could be the savior. Everyone on this team has chipped in at the perfect time, and I genuinely continuously say this. This is a team that is so well-rounded, and adding even a few pieces, we know a right-handed defenseman we'd like to add, but at the end of the day, Darius, it feels like every single person on the team has been a hero at some point of the season.
Yeah, everyone's had a moment so far, and Alex DeBrincat, that was his moment tonight. Well, maybe not just his moment, but obviously Patrick Kane, but he had a great game, of course. That's the point I was trying to make. But when you look up and down the lineup, it's true, and you bring up a good point. I want to get to another player in a second. Actually, not a player. I want to get to a goalie. But, when you look up and down the lineup, yes, they probably need maybe a little bit of a more experienced right shot defenseman in there for a playoff run. That's probably what they're looking at right now. Maybe another center. We've heard Vincent Trocheck. We're going to have another video on that as well. So when you look up and down the lineup, yes, they can bolster things at the deadline. And when you look at their cap space as well, they got a lot of it, and they got a lot of it moving forward. There are no issues. Going into next year, they have a projected $38 million in cap space, and they only have a few contracts to renew. So they're in a really, really good spot here. The team is playing well. And one other thing I wanted to point out before I get to John Gibson, obviously it's no surprise, that's who I want to talk about, and I want your thoughts on that, Mark, as well. Keep in mind tonight, a lot of people were saying on Twitter, oh, it's a poor effort, going into the third. They need to be the better team. The flu's going around the room too, right? So they had this gutsy comeback effort, and you can call the last goal a fluke, whatever you want. They were still pushing at the end. They controlled the last 5-6 minutes of the game, right? They were pushing really hard. The flu was going around the room. So I want to give credit where credit's due. I thought that was a pretty gutsy comeback for this team in the third period. So Mark, any thoughts on that? And I want to move on to John Gibson as well, because he's been everything for this team. Before we wrap up, I just want to give him his flowers as well.
I think the big thing is too, is looking at the team battling through with the flu. It's a big thing too, but a lot of people don't realize, well, I'm sure you do realize the fact that this is such a close division. Every team feels like they're within 2 points of each other. So coming out with that one extra point could be the make or break of getting a home ice advantage as well. So just looking at the team battling through, getting that comeback experience. Yes, you wanted the 2 points. Yes, OT felt like they could end it right at the end. But at the end of the day, Darius, this was a game that truly felt like maybe in the final 10 minutes that we were going to lose and not get those points, and just seeing that extra point secure on the standings. And of course, you want to touch on John Gibson, the Lord and Savior. As I've said, a huge fan of this guy, have been since he's been on the Ducks, but this is a guy that's an absolute workhorse for this team, and his stats back those numbers up.
Yeah, absolutely. He's been fantastic. There's no other way to put it. I mean, you're running out of words to describe John Gibson, what he's done for this team, the stats he's put up, and keep in mind too, a lot of this stuff isn't updated. We're recording this right after the game, like the final buzzer just went, Charlie Lindgren was just carried off the ice, and then we're recording this video, so a lot of the stats are not actually updated. But let us know in the comments how you feel about everything we saw tonight. Patrick Kane officially making history with the Detroit Red Wings. It was nice to see the entire team celebrate with him. And then one of the craziest sequences and goals we've ever seen to tie a game. Absolutely insane, Mark. I mean, I don't even know what to say about this. It was insane. Absolutely insane to witness. But thank you everyone for tuning in. Brand new channel. If you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button down below. You're going to get to stay up to date with everything to do with your Detroit Red Wings, post-game reactions, trade rumors, and as we head past the trade deadline, obviously the playoffs, because the Detroit Red Wings are, I mean, unless something catastrophic happens, I don't see that happening, they are going to make this year's Stanley Cup playoffs. So let us know how you feel in the comments below, and if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with everything Red Wings.